Alright, hi everybody. This is the next video on the Cub Cadet 1440 saga. And the previous video I was able to clean everything up and did a lot of rust treatment and repainting, all that good stuff. And it was a rough job. I mean, very amateurish for sure. And because this isn't a parade tractor or anything. It's not for show. It's still a workhorse, and I just want to make sure that, like I said, I just want to make sure that it's running great and stop whatever rust I could find, so that one of these days, if I do a full frame restoration on it, then it should be in still pretty good shape. But anyway, so here I am. I'm about to start reassembling everything. Just a few repairs to do, and I'll be able to put it all back together. So let's get started. Alright, so it rained last night. I was able to get all this stuff, brought it in here, and let it dry overnight. And so all this stuff's ready to assemble. I wasn't too happy with how grainy it looked, but like I said, it's not a a show tractor. And this last night, so I got everything put together. The carburetor's looking good. Got all that dirt and crap out of there, and it cleaned off nicely. This thing, the fuel solenoid, I could get it to rotate, but it just won't plunge down. And I connected the hot, I have a battery right here, and it's just frozen. It's not doing anything. And looking online, holy crap, I mean, I'm not used to paying that much for them, but they wanted anywhere from $80 to $120 for this one little fuel solenoid. So I'm not a cheapskate, but I just don't feel like forking over that kind of money right now. So what I'm going to do, because I do want to get this thing cranked up, and right now if I just, if you just screw that in, let's see if we can see where the plunger goes in there. So when this is seated all the way down, it just stays plugged, right? So it's not letting any gas go get into the main valve right there. So let me get this thing off. So in this case, I'm just going to cut the tip of this plunger off, and that way I can still put it on there. It'll be sealed, and it will let gas go through. The bad point is these things are made to so that when you turn the key off, the plunger sticks out. It stops the fuel from going through, and it eliminates the chance for well, I wouldn't say eliminate it. It's designed to keep the engine from backfiring. Well, I wouldn't even call it backfiring. It's more like an afterfire. If you, because when you have the engine running at high RPM without this on there, and then you cut the engine off, well, there's still a little vacuum still pulling some of the gasoline in there, and then you get the afterburner, right? The afterfire. But with this on there, when you cut the key off, boom, it shuts it off, and it reduces the chances of it having that afterfire, because it won't let any gas come through that main valve. But if you do it this way, I'm just going to cut it off for now until I find a replacement. I'm just going to cut that off, and just keep in mind, before you shut the engine off, make sure you put the throttle down as low as you can and let it cool off. You know, just let it run and cool off for a second, and then turn it off. And that'll reduce the chances, but still, you can still have the afterfire. And some guys will put a fuel shutoff on the fuel line somewhere. But I don't know if that's going to really help. But, well, I'll discuss it later, though, when we're looking at the tractor. Alright, so it rained out here last night. There's a little mud, but at least I was able to cover everything up. And my cat over there is getting comfortable. And when I washed all this off, I did find some rat turds down there. And lo and behold, he had a present for me this morning. He just bit the head off and brought it over to me. So, let's see. So we're looking at this. The paint's all dry. Here's the skins, and I'd put those in the garage overnight while it rained out here. So those are looking good. But before I put it all back together, a few things I want to do. I want to change out this filter. You can see how dirty that filter is on there, and that's probably how all the crap got into the carburetor. I guess I'll flush this thing out, see if I can. I don't know if anything has gotten into that or if it's still stuck in there. I'll change that out. There's the intake and carburetor assembly, and there's the it's ready to go on. And I think I'm going to take this bracket off and see if I can bend it back into shape, get a straight edge on it, because that sure is a lot of movement there. But that's about it. Everything else seems to be working good. I was just looking through here on the components. I'm not having any trouble with the ignition switch, but you can see the corrosion on there, so I'm anticipating that something could happen there if I don't watch out for it. Looks like somebody had rewired here before. There's some electrical tape. And I noticed down here too, so this is the cable going to the PTO clutch, and there's the clip, so it looks like that had that broke off and they just hardwired it in, spliced it in. So yes, been a few electrical problems on this. And before, I know I had replaced the battery cables previously. And okay, well, let's get started. Alright, it's getting there. I'll just keep tapping away on it and then we'll put it back on. Alright, let's do a test fit. Straighten it some, but you can still see this. Should be snug right about right there. Oh, that's much better. Still tries to move a little bit. Right there. That's perfect.
So let's get this old filter off of there. Goes that way. There. Alright. Now this thing is done. Okay, that's got that. Alright, so broke that off. Yeah, there's a bunch of crap on that. Up on the top. Really, it's not as bad as I thought. It's definitely discolored, but oh, on the inside there you see a bunch too. Yeah, so there's definitely crap getting through. Alright. Let's get the intake back on. Well, let's see if I can remember how all this stuff goes on. Okay, I know these are the sides. Yep, that goes there. This is the other side. I'm just going to do a quick test fit before I put it all together. Let's see, these things, I think this was the front. I think this went under here. Well, oh, okay. Let's see, this went all under that. Yeah. Alright. So this needs to go down before I put this linkage on anyway, so that's good. That bolts down there. So this piece, I guess, will fill this gap. Then it's this and the main heat shield over it after I put the muffler on. Okay, so how did this go? It goes this way. Alright, here's the spring, which I don't know where it goes. It goes there. This goes down. So the spring. That piece came off. Alright, I need 3 hands. There we go. Okay, that fit better. What about this piece? This is probably the bottom. Yes, yes. Alright, so now we can put this shroud in place. I believe. So does this go under or over? I think it goes over. And there's a bunch of cables on that side that I need to look out for. This side's lining up fine. Alright, got the charger hooked up. Nothing. Alright, so I got the charger on there, and what's going on is when I turn the key over, I mean, I'm getting nothing, right? Ground everything out here. Okay, plenty of voltage. 14.36. Here's the starter solenoid. It's getting there, but what's happening is I'm going to put this onto that positive switch coming from the ignition. And see, I'm getting nothing. Nothing coming out of the ignition. Now, I don't know if the seat makes a difference. No. See, I'm just not getting. So there's nothing coming out of the ignition. And I had a feeling about that before. I should have went in and took it off and cleaned it off, but when everything was off, I noticed the back of that ignition switch had some rust and all that good stuff. So I guess when I hosed everything down, it got wet, and that was it. So darn it. Let me. I guess I could try to jump the solenoid here, but I guess I'll do that just to make sure. Okay, keys on. Okay, so I'll just have to clean the ignition on, but let's go ahead and see if this'll crank up. I didn't have anything to prime the carburetor, so it's probably going to take a bit. So I think I've got another problem though. Got the ignition switch, I can clean that up, but it's still not cranking, and I looked over and there is no gas coming through the filter here. And when I pull this off, you know, I'll bet there's gas getting to it. Let me see if I can do this. Yep, there's gas getting to it. So I have a fuel pump that is not pumping. Well, shoot. Alright, so I just took off the fuel pump, and I'd forgotten I have this This fuel pump, I took it off. I have a John Deere over there that has a Vanguard engine in it, and actually a slightly larger, but so I'm just going to swap this out and see if it works. Make sure that it's if it's a fuel pump problem or not. Alright, so that's sucking up gas there. You can see it. Can you see it there in the picture? Yeah. So that was the problem. I might as well go ahead and bolt this one down, make sure it's good and secure. Alright, get this hose clamped down. Now I did check for spark. It's got pretty strong spark, so hopefully this thing is about to crank up here. I'm sure it'll take a second for the gas to get up all through the carburetor. So. All right. All right, so the skins and the hood's back on. Everything's looking pretty good under there. Just missing a few things here and there. The plastic, the headlight cover is gone, but tempted to put LED lights on it, but that's another story. This is looks like it's ready to go. Let me crank it up here. Now, why did it die? I thought I had plenty of gas. No, it's the damn ignition switch. Now it's not letting me do anything. Okay, well, I thought I was going to take it for a ride. I'll just have to jiggle with the switch again, put this thing back into shape. But I have to say, I think it looks pretty good. So, but it's not over yet. The ignition switch is a given. And I'll just probably take it off and clean it off, get all the corrosion off, because I'm sure it's just shorting out there. But let me show you what else needs to be done. Alright, so I had worked on this mowing deck on a previous video. I did them side by side. You know, just treating rust and painting. You can see some of the tape still on there, but the spindles are great, the pulleys are fine.
Even the blades, well, the blades I'll give it another year and I'll probably replace them, but I'll just sharpen the crap out of them. But you can see what's going on here. This one had definite rust throughs here, and a couple of them back here. So I didn't spray paint around. I spray painted around it, not directly on it, because I know I'm going to have to clean that off. And I'm finding some pieces of metal that I can cut into shape and possibly use these to weld it on. Yeah, so you see I need to trim all that stuff around. And I mean, it'll work like it is, but it'll be spraying grass and debris out all over the place. So that is what's coming up. Alright, so that does it for the day. You know, we got a lot done. We got everything put together, made some little minor fixes here and there. We still have a big one coming up with the mowing deck, but that'll be in the next video. So thanks for watching. Be sure to subscribe and stay tuned for the next video.